Emmanuel Macron has sensationally backed down over his midnight deadline to resolve the row with Britain of fishing rights, saying talks will now continue tomorrow instead. The French president backtracked on his threat just hours after saying he was ready to press ahead with retaliatory measures against Britain, saying he wanted to give negotiators time to find a solution. France had earlier said that, starting from 2300 GMT on Monday, it would restrict cross-channel trade, threatening to turn bickering over fish into a wider trade dispute between two of Europe's biggest economies. Mr. Macron, who earlier on Monday met British Prime Minister Boris Johnson on the sidelines of the United Nations Climate Conference in Glasgow, told reporters the French plan was on hold pending the outcome of renewed talks. He told reporters, "Since this afternoon, discussions have resumed on the basis of a proposal I made to Prime Minister Boris Johnson. The talks need to continue," he added. "My understanding is that the British were going to come back to us tomorrow with other proposals. All that will be worked on. We'll see where we are tomorrow at the end of the day, to see if things have really changed. My wish is that we can find a way out on all these issues." Earlier on Monday, Britain gave France 48 hours to back down from the threat of sanctions or face legal action under the Brexit trade deal. The measures threatened by France include increased border and sanitary checks on goods from Britain and banning British vessels from some French ports, steps that have the potential to snarl cross-channel trade. UK Foreign Secretary Liz Truss appears to have been pivotal in forcing Mr. Macron's volte-face. She told Sky News, "The French have made completely unreasonable threats, including to the Channel Islands and to our fishing industry, and they need to withdraw those threats or else we will use the mechanisms of our trade agreement with the EU to take action." Asked over what time frame France should back down, Ms. Truss said, "This issue needs to be resolved in the next 48 hours. Britain and France have squabbled for decades over access to the rich fishing grounds around their channel coasts. The fishing issue dogged the negotiations that led to Britain's exit from the European Union, not because of its scant economic importance, but rather its political significance. Reasserting Britain's control over its fishing grounds was a central plank of the case for Brexit. Mr. Johnson presented to British voters. Mr. Macron, meanwhile, faces re-election next year and needs to be seen standing up for his nation's trawler crews, a vocal political constituency. The latest row erupted in September after Paris accused London of failing to allocate enough post-Brexit licenses to French boats to fish in the zone 6-12 nautical miles from UK shores. Britain says it is issuing licenses to vessels that can prove they have previously fished in its waters, a central demand from British fishermen who fear French boats could wipe out their own profits. Last Wednesday, French authorities seized a British scallop dredger, the Cornelis Gurtjan, in French waters near Le Havre, angering London. On Monday afternoon, anticipating a new ratcheting up of tensions once the French deadline expired, fishing crews from both France and Britain were staying out of each other's waters, according to marine traffic tracking data and a French industry representative. In response, the UK government said it was ready to continue talks in the fishing row with France after Emmanuel Macron backed down on threats to disrupt trade. A spokesman said, "We welcome the French government's announcement that they will not go ahead with implementing their proposed measures as planned tomorrow. The UK has set out its position clearly on these measures in recent days. As we have said consistently, we are ready to continue intensive discussions on fisheries, including considering any new evidence to support the remaining license applications. We welcome France's acknowledgement that in-depth discussions are needed to resolve the range of difficulties in the UK-EU relationship. Lord Frost has accepted Clement Bone's invitation and looks forward to the discussions in Paris on Thursday.